Welcome to Frances Quilts, the site dedicated to the wonderful art of quilting, with a few other fun things thrown in as well. If you like what you see here, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe so that you can be notified of future videos. Hey guys, welcome back to Frances Quilts. Almost 6 months ago, my quilt guild issued a challenge to make a Bargello quilt. Now, over the last 6 months, I have made 2 Bargello quilts that were done as charity quilts, with just the idea of trying it to see what I liked about it and what I didn't like about the process. Well, now I'm kind of down to the wire because the challenge is due a week from tomorrow. So I think I need to get started. There are 2 big things that will make a Bargello quilt successful. The first is the strata that you use, the rows of strips and how you put those fabrics together so that you have them blending in the way that you want them to blend. The second thing that is very important is that this strip set is flat and even and straight. So I have very carefully made sure that all of these strips going across here are straight. There's no wobbles in them. It's not doing this or anything like that. They're all straight. They're all the right size. So today I want to show you how I accomplish that. We're going to just take 2 strips, and so I'm going to go through the process that I sew them together, and then as we iron them and press them out with the seam going in the correct direction, so that again we have strips that are straight. They're not moving around, not going like this at all, but just straight strips. So let's go have a look at it and see if maybe you can learn something new from the process. And I have my 2 pieces that I'm going to be sewing together. I'm going to place one on top of the other, and I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch seam all the way down along this edge right here. When I'm doing that, I am using this tape seam guide that I have put on here. I know that if I butt the edges up against that tape, that I will have, for my machine, a perfect 1/4 inch seam. So that's what I'm going to use. Let's get it started. Under. So I can see here that my edges are lined up well. This edge is lined up, this edge is lined up. And so I'm going to come forward. Okay, let's look at this from a little bit different angle. You can see that my edges are not lined up any longer. So I'm going to take my right hand and hold on to the bottom fabric with that. And I'm going to take my left hand and place that top fabric just on top of there like that. When I've got it nice and positioned, and pretty much I stop when I get to the edge of my machine table here, I'm going to come up here and make sure that it's butted up against there. I'm going to just put my finger on top just to keep that fabric guiding up against the tape, and I can go again. Stop, reposition the bottom one, reposition the top one, hold on here, and off we go. And then one last time, because see, I'm starting to get a little bit of movement over here. Let's reposition one last time and finish it off. So there's my piece ready to go. Now let's go see how we are going to iron it. Now that we have these strips sewn together, it's time to press them. And in this case, I'm going to be pressing to this flowery fabric right here. So let me show you the steps that I'm going to do. And in particular, I want to be careful that when I'm pressing, it's not starting to turn like that. I want to be sure that my seam stays straight the whole time that I'm pressing. So the first step that I do is to take my Misty bottle and I just give it a mist all the way across that seam. Then I'm going to take my iron and hold it straight. I want to straighten that out. Again, I do not want it to have curves or anything in there. So I'm going to stretch it just a little bit and hold it straight, and I'm going to iron all the way across. Now, a lot of people at this point open it up and they finger press all the way down, just using their fingers to press it across. I don't do that right then. I am going to finger press it, but I'm going to do it as I'm ironing. So I start out with just this pushed over right here to the side, and I'm going to put my iron down, and I'm always going to be pushing up that direction. That's the way I want my seam to go, so I'm going to be heading that direction. As I move down the seam, I'm going to be using my fingers here in front of it, and then I start a little wiggly motion with my iron like this to press out that seam. Let's keep going and finish it out. And a lot of times, honestly, when I'm doing this, this is over like this, but you can't see what I'm doing. So I'm going to open it up a little bit more. So I'm just going to continue using my fingers to kind of finger press it as I go and come all the way to the end. Now that I have got that done, I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to press from one end to the other, but I'm going to kind of hold this and stretch it a little bit, again, just to make sure that that seam right there is completely straight. So let's do that. So there it is. The seam is sewn together. It is straight. It is ironed and pushed over to the direction that I need it to go. And that's how I do it. Well, I hope you learned something from that. Whether it's how to get your seam allowance, your 1/4 inch seam allowance straight, whether it's how to press those seams out so that they're nice and flat and straight. Something that will help you in the next quilt that you make, whether it's a Bargello quilt or whether it's just a strip quilt or whether you are strip piecing 9 patches. Whatever you're doing where you need that straight strip set, I hope that this will help you. If you've enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you really enjoyed this video and would like to see more of them, be sure to subscribe so that you can be notified of future videos as they become available. I think that's it for today. Thanks for joining me here on Frances Quilts, and I'll see you next time. Remember, if you like what you've seen, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Please check out my website and daily blog at francesquilts.com, and I can be found on Facebook and Instagram at Frances Quilts. Thanks so much for joining me. Hope to see you again soon.